Washington.
You'd think with technological advances, it'd be easier than ever to make sure only people legally authorized to vote end up doing so. But turns out many thousands of ballots in our modern-day elections are illegally cast.
Despite what some say, many experts warn that voter fraud is a real danger.
Former Federal Elections Commissioner Hans von Spakovsky found thousands of cases doing research for the book Who's Counting? So serious, in fact, that people face charges in court.
We went through case after case after case of it 2 years ago. We've had recent reports everywhere from Pennsylvania to Mississippi of cases, people being indicted.
Some people cross state borders and vote more than once. Turns out it's not hard to be registered to vote in more than one place at the same time. The group True the Vote found almost 7 million overlapping voter registrations in 28 states it studied. A Virginia group found 44,000 people were registered to vote in both Virginia and next door Maryland.
And that raises the question, could there be enough fraudulent votes to influence the outcome of some of this year's extremely tight races, and maybe even determine control of the U.S. Senate?
Writing in a column for the Wall Street Journal called Here Comes the 2014 Voter Fraud, von Spakovsky highlighted the fact tens of thousands of non-citizens are casting illegal votes. And as Election Day draws near, several races for Senate seats have become so tight, just a few hundred votes could decide the winner.
Many of them are neck and neck in crucial places across the country. And so it's possible that non-citizens could decide who controls the United States Senate.
And studies show enough non-citizens vote that they could have affected super tight races, like giving President Obama his narrow win in North Carolina in 2008, and providing Minnesota's Al Franken the tiny 312-vote margin he needed to go to the Senate and give Democrats a filibuster-proof majority just as they needed it to pass Obamacare. Many Democrats, like North Carolina's Laura McKinnon, laugh off charges there's voter fraud in America.
Voting fraud that's a total lie.
Progressives have fought states clamping down on voter fraud, saying those usually Republican-led efforts are just a cover to keep racial minorities or the poor from the polls.
It is your civic duty to go out and vote, but it is something that they're trying to systematically take away and scare people about not being able to vote.
But experts like von Spakovsky say voter fraud is indeed real, and that 80% of non-citizens who voted for Democrats. Now, if you assume so many millions of Americans decide elections, a few fraudulent votes won't matter, think again. Von Spakovsky gives Ohio as just one example of how tight elections can often be.
Just this year alone, 2014, they've had more than a dozen races, local races, decided by one vote. Last year in Ohio, they had 35 local races decided by just one vote.
Paul Strand, CBN News, Washington.